Hello, 8th grade. Last lesson here. Okay, last part of lesson 2 from science. I know that it's really been a hard one for a lot of you, and that's okay. We're learning together. So part 3 of describing chemical reactions. So we get our final key question here. It's going to be, what are 3 types of chemical reactions? So I can't move my bubble, sorry. 3 types of chemical reactions are synthesis, decomposition, and replacement. So what do each of those mean? Synthesis is the reaction when 2 or more elements or compounds combine to make a more complex substance. So if we look down here, this P by itself would be an element, but if we look here, that's going to be a compound. So when more than one are together, that's a compound. Decomposition occurs when compounds break down into simpler products. And then replacement, the reaction when one element replaces another element in a compound, or if 2 elements in different compounds trade places. Let's look down here. The first one here is going to be an example of synthesis. We have two elements that combine to make a more complex substance. So there we go. The next one is going to be decomposition. So we're starting with the more complex one and breaking it down into simpler ones. Okay. Next we have replacement. So you can see the Cu and the O are together and the C is by itself. Now on the other side, the Cu is by itself and the CO are together. Okay. So you can do a double replacement. So here you see that the Fe and the S are together, the H and the Cl are together, and then the Fe and the Cl and the H and the S are together. So they just both flip, basically. Okay? So let's look again at more balancing of equations. So we have this. We have coefficients already been used. So now if we add together, we have 2 and 2 of the O's, which is 4, which then equals what's on the other side. Okay? Now we're going to look at breaking them down for molecules. So we're looking to find the number of molecules of 2H2O2. Okay, so first we need to find out how many atoms are in the reactant, how many are in the product of each element. So hydrogen, we have 4 in the reactant. Remember, that's the first part, and 4 in the product. Oxygen, we have 4 in the reactant and 4 in the product. Okay, so how many molecules of 2H2O2 are being made? We have 2. Why? Well, we have a 2 in front of our 2H2O2. Find out that there's 2 molecules, because we had to put 2 of the water with the oxygen to make the 2. Let's look at another one. So here we have 3 different elements, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. So first, let's find out how many of each atom are in the reactant. So we have 1 carbon, 1 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen, because that little subscript. Remember, if it's 1, you don't have to write that. And first, we can also count ours. We're actually going to, we got to balance the equation first. So we had to put that 2H2 there first. So now how many atoms are in a reactant? Well, there's 4 hydrogen atoms, 1 carbon, 1 oxygen. How many in the product? 4, 1, and 1. How many molecules of CH4O did we make? 1. Because there is no number in front of it. There would be a 2 there, and it would all be balanced, then we would have made 2 molecules of CH4O. Okay? So let's look at our vocabulary. We had synthesis, the reaction when 2 or more elements or compounds combine to make a more complex substance. Decomposition occurs when compounds break down into simpler products. Replacement is the reaction when one element replaces another element in a compound, or if two elements in different compounds trade places. So, assignment is going to be counting atoms and molecules in chemical reactions. We're just going to go through one here together. So, we have methanol. Methanol can be used to prevent certain liquids from freezing in cold weather. And methanol is produced when carbon monoxide and oxygen gas react. So consider the following reaction, it says. One molecule of carbon monoxide, CO, reacts with two molecules of hydrogen, H2, to produce some amount of methanol, CH4O. To find the amount of methanol produced, first determine the number of each type of atom in the product. Hint. Remember, during a chemical reaction, atoms are not created, destroyed, or changed from one chemical element to another. So what does this mean? There has to be the same number of hydrogen atoms in the reactant as there are in the product. So we're going to put 4. Carbon, same thing, it cannot change. So it's 1. And oxygen, it's 1. We're going to submit that as yes. Now it says during this reaction, how many molecules of methanol, or CH4O, are produced? Well, we don't have anything in front of it, so it's going to be 1. So that's all you're going to be doing for your assignment today. As always, if you have questions, let me know. Just like with math, though, if you get to 30 minutes of the skill and you're still not getting it, just stop. Let me know if I can do anything to help, whether that be make another video for you to explain it differently or look at it differently with you or whatever it may be. Just let me know. But the goal is to spend 30 minutes on science a day, so no more than 30 minutes. Okay? Have a great Thursday.